Excuse me. Starbucks, just, their breakfast sandwiches are awesome.
All I know about Doom is it's a soldier in hell, and that's it. Before I didn't even know that. I just remember.
So am I explaining this to you like I was like other stuff, like going off on a tangent and stuff?
Just explain to me what the fuck is Doom.
Doom changed my fucking life. There's a couple things in my small blip of a vapor trail of existence on this earth, but one of the things that I have always loved was Doom, Wolfenstein, pretty much everything that id Software has ever made. Doom came after Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein was Blazkowicz versus the Nazis, who was a U.S. super agent captured and taken to Castle Wolfenstein. But id Software had this guy named John Romero and John Carmack. John Romero really liked Dungeons and Dragons and, fantasy and brutal stuff like that. Carmack was a programmer. He really came up with some stinking innovative ways of coding things. He was the guy who figured out it's a lot easier to move the world around the sprite than the sprite through the world. Like you don't only render what you see. So it's kind of like moving space around the ship, moving the ship through space, warp speed with Scotty. But that relationship between those guys, especially with id Software, gave us some of the best first-person shooters that have ever been made. Quake, Quake 2, Quake 3 Arena. That and Unreal Tournament. Unreal Tournament 3. I loved Eviscerated. Like it really headshot. It really added to the game, but Quake 3 Arena really kicked the tires off of all of a sudden it was just, pretty hardcore PvP. But for me, it started with Wolfenstein and Doom. Wolfenstein was all one level. There were no stairs, there were no doors. There was a lot of doors. There was no changing levels. It was all one lateral, expansive dungeon. But the game made you think you were either going up levels or down levels, depending on what the storyline was. There was never going up or down. And it was, you had the gun straight in front of you, and it was awesome. It was incredible. Because you could get behind a wall and now even now I remember those yeah, dude, totally. It's pretty close, and you can play the sound effect. Then this thing happened. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine, and his older brother got a hold of this diskette, and he was like, there's a game on here called Doom, and it's shareware. And I was like, what's shareware? And he's like, well, it's a free game, but you can copy the disc really easily and give it, to all your friends and stuff like that. Eventually, if you liked the game, you could write the company and they would send you more diskettes, that were episodically. I think it was Shores of Hell, Knee Deep in the Dead, Inferno. There were these different episodes, and you could go up and down. And when I mean up and down, you could see through windows, you could go up and down stairs. It was just a different way of playing the game. Sound design was super top notch. Graphics were rad if you had a computer that could run it, If you had 8 megabytes of RAM, holy crap, you were flying. But you could share these discs with your friends, and so it started catching on like wildfire. You started playing this game, and man, you put your earphones on, and we had a little family room. So it had the staircase, and there was the cupboard door, and then the computer was back there. Sitting in this small, Harry Potter cupboard, this far away from the screen. And, this thing comes out of nowhere. There was a couple times it was like signs. I felt like Phoenix just grabbing the freaking headset and freaking out, because it was, even though it was all pixelated and stuff, man, you got into it. So Doom was the next one in their grand design of, Wolfenstein was all going like this. And now Doom was you could go up and then down stuff. You could go down staircases. You could kind of see over edges, and there was lava and slime and dead bodies everywhere. But as far as anybody knew, when you first started playing Doom, you didn't even know who you were. there was some allusion to the fact in the instruction booklet and reading on the back of the box that you were this space marine. They had been experimenting with teleportation technology on Phobos and Deimos, the moons of Mars. So they were zapping, farting around with stuff they didn't understand, and they were zapping stuff back and forth between the moons, and then it was like zap, zap, yay, zap, zap, oh, sandwich, oh, apple, demon. And they accidentally opened this portal to hell. Oops. In an effort to, and then, of course, the facility gets taken over. All right, we've lost communications. And apparently you're just this guy who's just like, oh, fuck, all right, fine. And you show up to the base, and all hell has broken loose. Everybody dead. Wrong place, wrong time. Basically, a lot like Dead Space, where Isaac is just like, oh, man, bummer. Well, that's going to be a long night. Not a good day to be a video game character, but the main reason you find out towards the end of the game that this Marine is so pissed off is not because, this base has been invaded, but apparently they killed his bunny. It's this picture of this, jacked up WWF looking dude in armor holding a shotgun with the ears of his beheaded rabbit in his hand just going. It was basically like John Wick. But with, you killed his bunny. I think it was Fluffy or something really generic like that. But, yeah, look it up. It's I'm thinking about it right now. It's a fucking funny picture. And there's, a bunny head impaled on a spike. It's pretty bad. But them messing with this dude's rabbit is pretty much the reason that he goes to the gates of hell and burns him down. These portals were opened up, and these lost souls, these skulls that were basically like a decapitated Ghost Rider with two horns that leave trails of fire. And the second they see you, they haul ass at you, and screaming the whole way, trying to get into you and possess you, which creates a grunt if they don't blow themselves up and kill you in the process. Imps are just full-blown physical, spiky skin Baraka looking dudes that can throw fire. But they created with almost zero storyline. They managed to create a whole world that really let your mind wander. The music was terrifying. The sound effects were scary. You were a good guy. Something's wrong. Better kill everything. And then you get to Doom 2, and shit has hit the fan, and it made it to Earth. Again, there's some lack in storyline, which there were some books that were written that supplemented some of the stuff that happened. But another little known fact, Brahm, that artist I really like so much, Darkworks, he did a bunch of Magic cards and Dungeons and Dragons and covers and stuff, did the cover for Doom 2. The dude coming around the corner with the shotgun bandolier taking a shot at the freaking cyber demon coming around the corner. Yeah, it was Brahm. I love that guy. He's such an awesome artist. Good question, man. I'm going on all sorts of rabbit holes. So anyway, Doom 2 was really, really, really creative puzzle solving. Go here, get this key, open this door, hit this switch, open that up, fight a bunch of shit, do your thing. Rinse, repeat. But it was scary. I mean, even though it was a little above Minecraft graphics, which don't tell that to the designers of the game, because they sat there and animated every single one of the friggin' sprites themselves, bless their hearts. These dudes created one hell of a world for my mind to play in, because like Dark Souls and the From Software, Soulsborne, a lot of that stuff is really convoluted. They kind of leave it up to you to write your own story. I love stuff like that. I love things that allow my mind to play. Fast forward, there have been a couple of Doom games in between Doom Eternal. Doom 3, which was freaking rad, very claustrophobic, and jumped a lot. You think Five Nights at Freddy's, Doom 3 went back to scary. gritty, gross, freaky. I mean, it never departed away from it, but it was like almost like it was like, okay, guys, everyone pay attention. This is how you do it. In the new one, which Eternal is the sequel to, the one that I was a really big fan of, it was just, I got the figure of. Turns out that you're like a really, really old, like, chaos war god, dude. Like, really mean motor scooter. So badass that you had to get, it really takes a lot to put this guy down. Encased in a sarcophagus that they unearth in the beginning of the game is this dude that you're chained inside of it, and you just rip out, grab a gun, and start freaking blowing people away. Like, game starts pretty fast. Just heavy metal music, zombies. I mean, you smash this dude's head on your own freaking coffin. It's brutal. You jump out naked and get through a door right after this really creepy girl walks in and sees your sarcophagus and says, "We have to contain this, like, this is gonna ruin everything." And you're like, "Whoa, what am I, right?" And, you walk through and you get right into the next room, and there's another stone sarcophagus that has this badass suit of armor in it. And as your character walks up, you grab the breastplate, and as soon as you grab it, he flashes back, gets like what you kind of see as mission parameters in the very beginning, and then puts this helmet on. But an interesting thing that he does is right at the beginning, there's a symbol on the helmet, kind of like how Boba Fett's got that thing on. And when he grabs the helmet and flips it around, he rubs it off almost like he knows what it is. He's fond of it. And then it's like, all right, let's get to work. And then the systems all come up and everything. It basically says, like, hell started to invade, so this dude wakes up. And, they're badass, but so are you. Rip and tear until it's done. Wake up. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. And you just, something's wrong, better kill everything, again. But to a futuristic, crazy cyberpunk, tech metal, agrotech soundtrack, again by Mick Gordon, which is just so good. I put a lot of time into Doom, so I'm really looking forward to Doom Eternal. Got it pre-ordered. And I'm looking forward to getting that helmet with it too. That's going to be rad. Well, yeah, that's Doom.
Okay. What time is it, Dang? Okay, I got 20 minutes, all right?
Well, you got to set an alarm or something then, because I can just...
No. I just think you can...
How long was that one?
That was about 30 minutes. So,
Fuck! Yeah. Half hour on Doom?
Yeah, same time.
Damn.